Hello everyone, Great Zaren here, and tonight is Elimination Chamber, and I will give predictions, because it's a good enough thing to do. First let's talk about the, looks like now next Raw Women's title defense by Asuka. So, a few weeks back, Lacey Evans got opportunity by getting Charlotte DQ'd, and then this past Monday, Lacey Evans announced that she was pregnant, and Ric Flair wooed like it was his kid. We won't get into how that storyline was or wasn't done correctly. And as of an hour ago, it looks like they finally pulled the advertising from Twitter, at least, for that match. This is after they had it up until about an hour ago, which, for the record, is 6 days of them not pulling the advertising for whatever reason. It's possible Asuka will still have a match. Maybe they'll have Asuka come out and say open challenge. Maybe there'll be a battle royal in the pre-show and the winner will face Asuka later that night. Or maybe Asuka just won't have a match. No matter what, I will say that Asuka is definitely leaving Elimination Chamber with the title. Unless they're going to torpedo whatever plans they may have for Asuka at WrestleMania against potentially Charlotte. Or maybe Rhea Ripley having a rip-roarious debut, which maybe. Asuka's not losing the title tonight. Next, let's talk about the match that might be replacing the Raw Women's title match. The Women's Tag title match. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against the really randomly thrown together tag team, well, kind of randomly thrown together tag team of Bianca Belair and SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. I'm presuming this will just be some way of them being Sasha and Bianca to get chippy at each other and just not win the titles, and that'll facilitate the match that we're thinking will happen and a lot of us are hoping will happen, of Bianca Belair challenging Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. Also, Nia and Shayna seem like they're going to be going up against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez at some point for the titles, and I'm guessing they'll win it. If this match isn't a replacement for the Raw Women's title match, but it was the plan all along to have the SmackDown with the women's tag titles defended, why aren't you going with some other established team? You have Peyton Royce and Dana Brooke. By the way, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay should have been broken up. We're going to throw in tag teams anyway. You have the Riot Squad, at least those two, but no, you're going to go with this other team, which clearly isn't going to win and clearly isn't going to win at all and survive past this. It's just trying to give them something to do until WrestleMania, I guess. And we still have Fastlane after this to the middle of March. Next up is the maybe triple threat match for the US title. Bobby Lashley and Riddle, who are confirmed to be there, along with Keith Lee, if he is going to be there, even though he didn't show up on Raw. And he may not be able to show up. I have no idea. Even if Keith Lee is there or if he isn't there, I think Bobby Lashley is going to retain. He's being super dominant right now. He's having one of those title runs that you can't just have it end necessarily. I mean, I guess you could, but it'd be better if it was used to elevate somebody else and then frees him up to go challenge for another title. I think that what we will see is probably Lashley dropping the belt to Keith Lee, maybe at WrestleMania, because they could easily protect Keith Lee and not have him lose, because Riddle's been getting his ass whipped every which way to Sunday by Bobby Lashley, and he has not done anything to convince me he can actually beat Bobby Lashley now. So Bobby Lashley's going to retain the US title, pretty simply put, whether Lee is there or not. And by the way, congratulations to Keith Lee and me again for getting engaged. If you know Mia Yim's story, she really deserves to find somebody that makes her happy like that. Next, the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title. It is champion Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton versus Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston. Several different things to break down into this. One, it's smart for Miz to go, I know I'm in the chamber match, but I got money at the bank. I'm stepping away from this. And to have Kofi Kingston earn his opportunity into the match. That was great. To give us that possibility of, well, maybe we'll get Kofi Mania 2. Probably won't. Orton is probably going to be eliminated by some way by the Fiend, whether it's the Fiend distracts, whether it's the Fiend shows up in the chamber and then lights go out and then Orton's just gone. Maybe he shows up in the pod and he just vanishes that way. That'd be cool. There's ways that they could get Orton out via the Fiend. Let's see. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, they're not winning this, which would bring it down to McIntyre and Sheamus. And I think McIntyre is going to retain. Sheamus is going to want to have that one-on-one match that he said that McIntyre gave him. And it could very much be a thing of just Sheamus and McIntyre become the last two, and they're just spent because they've gone through this entire war. Even though Sheamus is entering last, Sheamus could get beat up by everyone else and by McIntyre, and just it's this back and forth struggle to where McIntyre just hits that Claymore out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, McIntyre retains. And Sheamus can go, well, I mean, that's great, you beat me in the chamber, but we were in the chamber match. I wasn't one-on-one. I still want my one-on-one match, and that could be Fastlane, that could be Mania, that could be both, where Sheamus just keeps trying to justify it. And by the way, Miz is not going to be able to successfully cash in. I don't care how tired and beat up everyone is. No, Miz is still not believable. They've not done anything to convince me that Miz could convincingly be champion. So just get out of here with that. And somebody said it would be funny, and maybe it should be, that Miz just schemes for so long that eventually the contract just expires. He gets to be the next Money in the Bank, and he's like, I'm not cashing in. Ah, crap, it expired. And we haven't had that happen before. And it really wasn't a good year for Money in the Bank cash-ins to happen anyway, because from the time it was won, you had McIntyre, you had Strowman, you had Fiend, you had Reigns, you had Orton for a short while, so maybe Orton, but who would you think could survive a Money in the Bank cash-in on them? Also, not to mention that Otis held it for a while too, so that really just torpedoed it, going, Otis ain't beating any of these people. So it might be best if the contract just expires, because that hasn't been done before. So why not? Last up, I'm going to lump together the Universal title match that Roman Reigns has versus the Chamber winner. The participants in the Chamber are as follows. Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens versus King Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Corbin and Sami Zayn are warm bodies. They're not going to win. That leaves it down to Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Uso, and Reigns. Not Reigns, Uso and Owens. Any of these four could be interesting. I'll say Daniel Bryan seems to be the least likely because he has lost a lot. And he's going to come part-time at some point. It's not to say that he couldn't get the match and lose there and maybe go on and have one at Fastlane, but I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win it. Cesaro would be great because he could just show that he's an Iron Man and just really get himself over for it. Not only did he survive the Chamber, he then put up this great match against Roman Reigns where Reigns just barely is able to survive him, and Reigns just like, oh my god, I can't believe that, you know. And maybe Cesaro, if he does lose, can starkly go, well, I mean, I put up that good of a fight after the Chamber. Imagine if I was at full strength. So that could be a later match for Cesaro. And again, just to be a star-making performance for him. Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. I don't know if he can survive losing again. I think it is time for somebody else to get a chance. Owens can try to get his move at some point. Just, he's lost all these matches. Weird ending to the Rumble match aside, Owens has done his thing. And with Jey Uso, you do have that interesting story of, is he just going to try to do damage? Is he going to try to win it to give his cousin a really easy win where Jey Uso just lays down for Reigns? Will Uso try to win it so that he can actually try to challenge for the belt? There is that possibility. And if it's just that conflict of he wants to challenge for it, he's like, no, I'm loyal to my brother. Just, that could be interesting as well. As for who's going to win it, I really don't know. It'll be interesting either way. I think Cesaro might be the one that benefits the most from it and isn't already kind of beaten to the ground like Owens. Because it's a thing of Reigns is going to retain the title, and he's going to fight Edge. That's what's going to happen. There's no way around it. There's no better match. As much as I thought it might be cool to have Daniel Bryan go up against him, Edge versus Reigns is the match at WrestleMania. I don't know exactly who Reigns will fight at Fastlane. It might be Cesaro in another straight-up match. Maybe Daniel Bryan will get his chance. And if it's Daniel Bryan at Fastlane, maybe Cesaro can, after Reigns retains the belt, or maybe loses it and then gains it back, Cesaro can get his chance, and maybe he can get the belt. Who knows? Those are my thoughts and predictions for tonight's Elimination Chamber. Let's see what happens. I'm excited about the Chamber matches, and I guess let's also see if Asuka's actually going to have a match tonight. And yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, YouTube, social media stuff, all of that. And I'll see you in the next video.